I see many people posting pictures of all the stuff that they're pulling out of their gardens right now. Peppers, tomatoes, onions, carrots, potatoes. It all looks wonderful. So today we're going to take our fresh tomatoes and make some stewed tomatoes out of them that we can keep in the freezer. Again, I'm using my freezer bags with my food saver here, and we're going to get these all whipped up in 10 minutes. We're going to have stewed tomatoes for all season long. Okay, the first thing we do have to do, just a little bit of prep here. We have our water boiling on the stove, and we're going to take the skins off these tomatoes. Some people will make stewed tomatoes with the skins. Some people don't like them. I actually take the skins off, I peel them, and I save the skins, and I will dehydrate them and throw them in with any of the sauces that I make later. I put them in little jars like this, and they're ready to go for me. They crush up really nice when they're all dried. So that's something to think about if you want to do that, but you would need a food dehydrator for something like that. So once your water's boiling, we're just going to drop a couple tomatoes in. We want to try and keep that water boiling as much as possible. So if these are cold tomatoes, you don't want to drop too many in because the water will stop boiling. And all you do is drop them in, and you're going to watch for the skin to split on them. And it usually happens pretty fast. And I usually just kind of take a spoon and rotate them around a little bit. You're not cooking the tomato, we're just taking the skins off at this point. Sometimes it helps too just to tap on them a little bit, or I have actually taken a knife before and just punctured the skin a little bit, and that seems to get it to peel right away. We can try that and see if it works. I just poke each one a little bit, and usually that gets them going really good. This just makes it easier to take the skin off of the tomato. That's what we're doing. Making it easier for ourselves. See how this one starting to split really fast now once I tapped on it? We'll just let it go a little longer, make sure that that one has a nice good size split in it right there, so we can put that in our bowl. And now this one has a really good split in it too, so we can put that in our bowl. And I'll drop a couple more in here right away. So once our tomatoes came out of the water, and they cracked, now we can just peel them off. I already did a couple there. We do a couple more. They come off really easily. And again, I do save my skins and I will dehydrate them. I just started doing that. Last year I learned that they give a lot of flavor, and they really do. They add a lot of flavor to your sauces, and they crush up so you don't have them like flaps of skin, which sounds kind of gross, in your sauces. So we'll finish taking the skins off of these, and we're going to get them chopped up and ready to process. So all you do to cut them up, I just rough chop them. I do take the core out, so I find the core there and get that taken out. And that'll go on my compost pile. And then I just rough chop them. I like my sauces a little chunky. And then I'm going to put them in my pot over here. Get that in the picture. And then we'll add a couple more ingredients. So let me get these tomatoes finished, and I'll show you what we got left. So I'm just doing a half batch here. So I have 12 tomatoes. I have a half a cup of celery. I have a 1/4 cup of green pepper. And about a 1/2 cup of onion. And then to that, I'm going to add some salt. Now, for my recipe, I like to use celery salt. You can use whatever. If you would rather use the pink Himalayan salt, that is totally fine. But for me, celery salt just seems to give it a little extra flavor, so I like using that instead. And I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of celery salt. So we'll get that in there. We're going to mix this together. And all we got to do is let this cook for 10 minutes then, once it starts simmering. It smells good already. Almost the exact same ingredients for salsa, except for I'd stick a little garlic in here, and either cilantro or parsley, depending on your preference. What's nice about stewed tomatoes is you can use them for a lot of different things. You can use them for your chilies, for your spaghetti sauces, for your marinara sauces, pizza sauces, everything that works really well. So it's nice to have them on hand. So our timer's up. As you can see, they were cooking really nicely. We're gonna shut the heat off, mix them up a little bit. Again, I did mix them a couple times throughout the cooking time, 10 minutes. Now, because I'm putting these in the freezer bags, I am just gonna let this sit for a couple minutes just to get some of that heat off of there. I don't wanna put them when they're quite that hot into the freezer bags. If you were doing the canner, the jar method, then you definitely wanna get these ladled into your jars and ready to process for, I think it's 15 minutes in the jar. So whichever method you choose will determine what you're gonna do next. But for me, I'm just gonna let this cool for a little bit and we'll be right back to get them in the bags. My microphone stopped working while I was making this segment, but what we were doing here is we are filling our bags, our freezer bags, with our stewed tomatoes. And I just took a bowl and I put the freezer bag inside the bowl and then flipped over the top part of it just so that I would create a little bit less mess. For some reason, I am very messy when I do this usually. And I'm going to fill it about halfway full. And then once the bag is full, we'll take it out of the bowl and lay it flat on the cookie sheet. I lay mine flat on the cookie sheet just because it's easier once they're frozen to have the flat object versus a bulky round object. They're much easier to store when they're frozen flat. So if you can do that at all, either in a 13x9 pan or on a cookie sheet, it works really well. So we'll just fill our next bag and we'll be right back. So now that we have our second bag full, we will also take that one and lay it flat on the cookie sheet. We will fold over the top of it so none of the juices come out of it. And then we'll take this cookie sheet and put it in the freezer. Probably let it freeze for a good couple hours, especially because the juice is so hot on this one. And then we'll come back and we'll seal these up. So after your stewed tomatoes come out of the freezer, all we do is zip them up like this. We label them so we have the date and what they are, and they go back in the freezer and they're good to go. Again, if you wanted to do canner method, you can do that as well, and just make sure you label those too. So there you go, stewed tomatoes. Now you can just pop them out of the freezer whenever you're ready to make your chili or your spaghetti sauce. I really hope you guys like this recipe today for your tomatoes. There'll be a few more to come, so keep on watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.